Formula One returns from Montreal and comes home. It's the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Max Verstappen has won 6 of the opening 9 races so far this year. Red Bull have won 7. That was thanks to Sergio Perez winning in Monaco, Leclerc only winning 2 in Bahrain and Australia. The British Grand Prix at Silverstone kicks off 4 races in 5 weekends here in July. Austria next weekend sees the second sprint event before a week's break. France and Hungary take us to the summer break. Then it's a triple header. Belgium, Netherlands and Italy round out the European season before we head off to Singapore, Japan, United States, Mexico with a double header there before a week's break, and the season rounds out with a double header, one in Sao Paulo and then the last race on the 20th of November in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen leads the Drivers' Championship. He's on 175 points. Sergio Perez, 46 points back. Charles Leclerc, 49 points back. Whatever happens here this weekend, Verstappen will leave Silverstone as the championship leader. George Russell, being Mr. Consistency, is still in 4th place, a top 5 in every race so far this year. Carlos Sainz rounds out the top 5. Lewis Hamilton just inside the 100 points mark as well, 98 back. Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso round out the top 10. On the second page, Pierre Gasly fell back after his race in Montreal. He's 1 point ahead of Kevin Magnussen and Danny Ricciardo. Sebastian Vettel has 14th place as well with 13 points, 2 clear of Yuki Tsunoda. Zhou Guanyu is in 16th. 2 points clear of Alexander Albon and Lance Stroll. Mick Schumacher and Nicholas Latifi still no points on the board. Nico Hülkenberg, of course, still only those 2 races at the start of the year. Still ahead, though, of Nicholas Latifi in terms of finishing results. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead the way by 76 points. Once again, they'll leave Silverstone going into their home race next weekend as the championship leaders. Ferrari are struggling now as well with some DNFs in the past couple of races. Mercedes 116 points back on their own in 3rd. McLaren are battling Alpine and Alfa Romeo as well for 4th place. AlphaTauri are joining in that battle. They're just holding off Aston Martin versus Haas for 8th and 9th as well, 16 points to 15 points. Williams in 10th on 3 constructors' points. It's the afternoon of the British Grand Prix at Silverstone and it's time for Free Practice 2. Let's take a look around the Silverstone circuit here in the United Kingdom, a 3.6 mile circuit, 18 turns, the flattest and fastest circuit on the F1 calendar. Drivers love the birthplace of F1. Exiting Club Corner, flat out on board with the Red Bull from last year, straight down towards turn 1 at Abbey. 8th gear, flat out, take as much curve as you like, flicking towards Farm Curve at turn 2. Hard on the brakes, the first real opportunity on the brakes, and opportunity to pass into turn 3 at Village. Turn 4 at the loop, down, 2nd gear corner, tightest part of the track, accelerate up. Turn 5 is at Aintree, open up the DRS, flat out now in 8th gear as you hurtle down towards turn 6 at Brooklands. This is the Wellington Straight. Flick the car in whilst braking into Brooklands down at turn 6. Turn 7 at Luffield, another sweeping right-hander. Power on mid-early. Turn number 8 then, Woodcote onto the National Pit Straight, 8th gear. Now you're flat out towards turn 9 at Cops Corner. Little lift mid part of the track, flick the car in, brake down 7th, little lift, full power again, back up to 8th gear as you come through turns 10 and 11 through Maggots. Flat out, turns 12 and 13 at Beckett's. Flat out again, lift out. 14 comes through the Chapel. 2nd DRS as you head down the Hanger Straight. 8th gear flat out in towards Stowe Corner at turn 16. Brake down 5th gear corner. Keep tight as you rise over the top of the elevation down towards turns 16, 17 and 18. The Vale Complex as well. Back on the power in the last corner, turn 18 at Club. Take the inside line, cross it at 7th gear, and that is a lap of Silverstone. We are back at Silverstone once again, like this morning where the waterlogged pitch was really putting a dampener on situations. This afternoon, it is bright blue sunshine. Track temperature 31 degrees. Air temperature 19 degrees. And what a place to spend a weekend as well. A former RAF base turned into world motor racing circuit. It's the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone as well. 18 corners as well around this elevation change, which is 11.3 metres coming in the loop section that was added back in 2010. Tyre compounds, well, forget the intermediates and the wets. It's the hardest that Pirelli make. The white, hard C1, the yellow medium C2 and the red, soft C3 as well. And the tyre compounds that you need to make sure you remember coming into this weekend. The fields are calm at least as well, but blue sunshine all the way around as well as we get ready for this session as well. Do not want to miss this one. Whatever you do, wherever you are right now, stop, get ready to go, because this next hour is going to be absolutely fantastic. Let's say good afternoon to those in the Skyfall commentary box as well. Good afternoon,
the
chaps.
conditions that we had this morning and the upgrades that have been brought, particularly on that Mercedes car, is this now, in clear sunshine and a dry track, the most important practice session of the season, especially for Mercedes?
Yes, apart from the one that we're going to have tomorrow in the build up to qualifying, because they're going to have to learn so much about it. Then the team's back at Brackley, and in the simulator, will have to work overnight to optimize it before qualifying. But you're right. Thus far, I think this is a massively important session.
And for Red Bull and Ferrari to see what Mercedes have to offer in terms of what could be a three-way challenge if they've got it right.
Or for us to see what Ferrari have got up their sleeve. I mean, to be honest, we just don't know, do we, how it's going to pan out here. It's a different type of circuit to the ones we've been going to. So all to play for.
It really is all to play for as well as we are getting ready. And as you can see, our driver tracker back in operation as well, all set to go. We've even got our timing screens back on the iPad, which means we'll have the team radio in play as well. Light rain expected soon, apparently at 12 minutes past the hour, I'm being told. That means it'll blow into Silverstone around about half past the hour, which seems to be where it is as well. Wind speed, of course, 2 hours away. Wind speed is in half an hour away, so it just moves it across quicker as well out there on the circuit. But we are getting ready to start. Oh, right, Fossil says, I cannot thank you and your whole group enough for your commentary. Well, thank you very much. That means an awful lot as well. And glad you're getting so much pleasure out these commentaries as well. Stay with us throughout the weekend as well, because we'll have so much action coming up as well here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. There's the results then for the first practice session as well, by the way. Verstappen as well was not the top. He was 20th, so they have changed over, which is a disappointment. But it was Valtteri Bottas who topped this morning's timesheets as well after an extraordinary push as well on the intermediate tyres. Gave him the better situation and the better of the doubt as well. Ted Kravitz is down the pit lane for Sky Sports F1. Going as well on Channel 4 will also be Lee Mackenzie. But to begin with, it's the silk voices of a man who's been around the paddock for over 20 years. Good afternoon to Ted Kravitz.
Jordan have his spoons out. He's an ace on the spoons.
Yes, he did for one
Excellent.
song.
I think he's doing a spoon solo tonight.
Good, fantastic. Well, if this morning was all wet, 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 there's been sun, sun, sun ever since. And now it's time for laps, laps, laps. Yes, everybody, but everybody is leaving the garage. So important, most important, who can tell? They just need to get out there and pound around this Silverstone circuit. So if we were watching this morning at home, if you're watching on your Sky Go in the stands here, you felt a little shortchanged, you are going to get lots of action straight away. And whoever has a problem here in this session, if anyone has a problem, hopefully for their sake they won't, that will affect their British Grand Prix. So last one out, just coming out now. I can see at the top of the end of the pit lane is Zhou Guanyu and Alfa Romeo Sauber. And then let the action commence, Crofty.
Thanks very much, guys. Okay, so we are green flag and away we go at the end of the pit lane as well. Everyone's venturing out onto the circuit. Fingers crossed this driver tracker will boot up and actually work as well. It looks like it wants to try and work, which is good news. Just give it a second and it'll launch in. At least the timing screens are working. Out there on medium compound tyre is Sainz and Tsunoda. Vettel, Norris, Bottas, Gasly and Russell out there on hard tyres. Ocon's gone out on soft. Schumacher out there on mediums as well as they start to come out onto the circuit. Driver tracker not just working yet, but give it time. Latifi, Perez, Leclerc and Albon have stayed inside the pit lane as well, which was a surprise. I thought they might at least switch over a little bit, but looks like they've kept their positions for exactly what they like to see. So we've actually got the Sky cover, we've got the Channel 4 coverage up as well alongside here in the commentary box that we can hear at the same time. So if we miss anything, it'll change over everything as well. The time screen's still not working. In fact, the driver tracker not working on timings as well, so they're still having that problem on the world feed as well. Hamilton, Verstappen separated by quite a little margin out there as well, but Sainz, Vettel, Norris top three at the moment in the sector times. They continue running around out here as well. Track temperature, if you can see it as well, 31 degrees. Air temperature at 19 degrees. Wind speed is up as well. Humidity at 48% as they come through. Maggots and Beckett's now at the back half. Circuit information, 18 turns, full throttle for 82% of the lap. Top speed, 321 kilometres an hour or 199 miles an hour. Sometimes that goes over 200. It's a medium downforce circuit, but it's a high tyre wear track as well, which means it'll be coming in as well and changing a lot of the action out here on the circuit as well. So a lot of slow down laps now for the drivers. They come through the middle part. This is Verstappen's radio. What's wrong?
I hear a bit of a weird noise, but if everything is okay, I'll continue.
Okay, understood. Stay out for now.
So Verstappen's heard a slightly weird noise and he has come to a crawl down at the back straightaway towards Vale, but looks to be okay and will be getting up to restart as well. So hopefully it's not going to be a big issue. And a big demanding issue. Here it is again, Verstappen.
All okay from this side.
Hey, that's the news you wanted to hear from
Right, and he's going to start this flying lap. So I'll tell you what, Karun Chandok, take us around 3.6 miles of Silverstone for Max Verstappen.
Comfortably flat out through the first couple of corners, slightly uphill braking as you get to the right-hander of the farm. There's a lot of camber, you've got to get the nose into that. And similarly for the left-hander at the loop, you can pinch a bit of that inside curve, but some drivers do use a wider line to carry more momentum. Onto the Wellington Straight, heading down towards Brooklands. I love this corner. It's such a tricky braking zone. The apex comes a long way around. You've got to have a great amount of rear stability before you get to Luffield. A long right-hander where you need a lot of patience before you pick the power up. Max judging that exit to perfection, I thought. Nearly in the gravel. Up to Cobbs last year, comfortably flat. Don't think it's going to be the case this year, but it's still unbelievably fast for the drivers through there, a little bit wide on the exit curve. Through Maggots and Beckett, this is the single greatest section of corners to watch a Formula One car on the planet. If you're anybody, if you are listening to us on Sky Go here at the circuit, try and walk down there and watch. Heading down Hanger Straight, Max fastest of anybody so far in the first two sectors, but up to Stowe, just under 200 mile an hour before he gets on the brake. Just down to his fifth gear, very quickly up to sixth before the exit curve even. Now, when we get to Club, watch out for people locking up throughout the weekend. They've gone through basically half a lap without touching the brake pedal. So when they get to Club Corner, the brakes are cold, and we often see people locking up the inside front. No issue for Max here. 31.4 to go to the head of the times, but Charles Leclerc's on a lap as well.
So there we go then. It's Verstappen has gone fastest on a 1:31.438 as well. Here comes Charles Leclerc up towards the line to change over. Leclerc goes top on a 1:37.86. So a mighty good job there. Sainz goes second, 1:30.880. So changes over once again. A decent amount of set lap times there from everybody out in the field. Close, calm, and concise. Now, the map needs time to get data, we're being told. So the map will work shortly as well, but at least the driver tracker timing is working as well as they come through. As Verstappen, a lot of wide coming through Kopp's corner as well, scraping across the floor. That'll affect the ground effect of the car. As Lando Norris through turn 1 at Abbey flicks the car in. Does it go off? Yes, he does at Farm Curve. Replay radio.
Places with the snaps wind direction change related.
We're an old...
So it's an old switch stream as well. Synthel says as well on the YouTube chat, Race Control says only 10% of chance of rain for the remainder of this session. That could be the case. Hopefully it is. That means it's not going to be affecting us throughout the session as well. Leclerc good. This is Russell being blocked by one of the AlphaTauris. I think it was Tsunoda.
AlphaTauri got in the way, quite dangerous.
Yeah.
AlphaTauri got in the way, quite dangerous. Yeah, you're right. It was indeed very dangerous and a bit silly as well to be in that part of the track to go wide. Hamilton was just wide at Kopp's corner as well, taking a little bit of attitude there. But looks okay to me. Ricciardo 8th, Magnussen 9th, Albon in 10th position as well. And Martin Whitmarsh, the group CEO for Aston Martin, is back in the paddock then this weekend. Nice to see Martin Whitmarsh back. Of course, used to be team principal at McLaren for a number of seasons as well. And AlphaTauri got in the way as well, which is what we were seeing out there on the board as well, on the field as well. Russell's Mercedes making numerous messages as well out there on Race Control. We've got our team radio back open as Leclerc and Sainz looking good. Verstappen goes 3rd. Bottas goes into 4th position as well. Perez comes into the pit lane then as he's P4 down overall on the deck. Looks okay to me. The map is going to be working soon. Just requires a little bit of patience as it comes through.
A bit of purposing, entering Maggots and Beckett's. And a little bit at the end of the straight as well. Not a lot.
Okay, mate, copy that.
So, yeah, it just needs to gather data, the map. So, what basically, because no time is a work of Verstappen radio.
The sound is still here. I don't know what it is. It's like something is just touching.
Okay, understood.
Like something's just touching.
It says something is just...
Something just touching out there as well, which isn't good news either. So, Max has got a problem with that Red Bull. He doesn't like the sound of it, whatever it is, rattling around down there on the circuit. And he's down into turn 1. Locks the inside front as well. Goes straight. So that's down at turn 3 at Village. Wasn't good. It was a big snap of the lockup as well.
It's very windy out there.
Verstappen saying it's very windy out there as well. And he is correct in saying that. As, yeah, so basically what's happened with the track guide is at the moment is because
it's very windy out there.
Yeah, there we go. Because the track map wasn't active in free practice 1 because all the timers went dead, it's going to take a little bit more time in practice 2 to get the track map working, but it will activate shortly. At least we've got the timings, though, working, which is good news as well, I suppose. Sainz is at the fastest second sector, 36.554. Leclerc still top overall, though, but Sainz might just take this as he comes towards the line. We need to update the TV pictures as well. Sainz crosses it 8 tenths faster, 1:29.962 then on the board. Mega time there. I'm on the board. As it sounds like my microphone might be having a bit of trouble out there. So hopefully that's fixed it. Yes, it has. Brilliant. So just adjusting the gain has fixed my microphone after it was having a few tech issues, probably not enough power getting to it, quite a lot plugged in at the moment on the bus mixer. So it's Sainz on top with a 1:29.962. Leclerc is second, 8 tenths down. Hamilton third fastest at the moment. And shortly, and as we now go on board with pedal cam, which is great news actually, because we can show a little bit of pedal cam. I'll get the Mac ready as well. And see if we can drag it in. So this will be, are you ready to see pedal cam, everybody? It's all ready to go. Just got to sort of drag it into the same angle when it comes in. But this will be Lando Norris on the pedal cam, which we'll see shortly in the place of the driver's camera. Wonderful little angles that we get to see nowadays as well. On board, here it is. This is pedal cam. This is what we were watching a little while ago as well. If we go to, where is it, full MacBook Vision, This is the pedal cam. Can't use it for too long, but this is full screen. This is currently live F1 as well that you're watching. Lando Norris controlling the onboards as well. Left foot will be the brake. Right foot closer towards us will be the accelerator as well. And doesn't that just look absolutely fantastic as well? That's enough of that as well out there on the board as well. But there's the pedal cam in full operation and looks absolutely magnificent in all its glory as well as he's going around the back half of the track now as well. Map will be coming up shortly, but that's one of the beauties I love of this British Grand Prix. We get to show things like that as well as coming up this weekend as well from Channel 4. They're talking to a lot of people out there. Here it says they've gone for their first ad break. Billy Monger, I think, is doing some sort of thing with Juice. Steve Jones at the Red Arrows. It looks like quite interesting things going through as well out there on the circuit. Not raining at the moment as it comes through, as George Russell comes in towards Brooklyn, sweeps in. He's got McLaren just ahead of him, and I think he's going to be blocked at left field. The McLaren Lando Norris dances out the way. Radio for
in the McLaren.
Completely blocked by Norris again. Well, I don't think that was Lando's fault. He got blocked as well by Pierre Gasly, and Lando got out of the way as soon as he could. Russell just came up incredibly quick there on him. It was nowhere near any sort of incident or accident zone as it comes through here. Well, here down, Jenson Button is trackside, by the way, with Martin Brundle, and we'll be hearing from them shortly. That's why Damon Hill and Corinne Chandnock are up in the commentary box. No Anthony Davidson or Paul di Resta at the British Grand Prix. Now, isn't that interesting? I don't think there's anything else on, as there goes the driver tracker. Hey, only took 10 minutes for it to get the data to load in, and there we have it. We are up and running for this one as well. As they said out there, cars circulating. Full business.
Mainly a little bit of rear locking on initial hit, and then mainly lacking traction. Entry to mid is good.
Well, it's working perfectly now and on time. Martin Brundle is trackside with Jenson Button down at 10-3 at Village.
Thank you, Crofty, for your kind words. Privilege to come round with Jenson. We're at turn 3. I like to use the names. First corner, Abbey. Left-hander, Farm. Into Village. The Loop. Aintree, the Wellington Straight. And they're turning up here at some rate of knots, Jenson.
Yeah, through turn 1 and turn 2, it's easy flat in a Formula 1 car. But you see them coming here. I'm going to call it turn 3 because I don't know all the names. But they're coming for almost 200 miles an hour down to a very low speed. But today they're finding it really tricky because there's a tailwind. Basically, it makes it a lot more difficult to slow the car down. There's a lot of under rotation of the front inside wheel, tyre. And they're ending up off the circuit at the exit of turn 3. So it's not easy. It's really their first practice to really push, but the inconsistency here is it's quite unbelievable.
Yeah, we've seen Lewis off the road. We've seen Charles Leclerc off the road. So we always talk about, yeah, tailwind, headwind. How much earlier do you reckon they have to brake with such a stiff tailwind so they got less downforce?
I mean, it could be 5 meters. Yeah. Which is mad, really, because it's not a lot of distance, but they're also braking at the 100-meter board, basically, down for this very, very low-speed corner. This new section, I call it new, it's been around for a long time now, but it's a really tricky section for a Formula 1 car. Formula 1 cars these days are all aero, and these corners aren't, so they look kind of clumsy going through these corners, don't they? Come flying through turn 1 and turn 2. It's so fast, and then clumsy through this slow-speed section.
I know, and, you know, it's the 4th longest circuit on the calendar, and braking for turn 3, you could have blown the lap already, can't you? You could have already got it wrong. But what's going on the side of that Williams? I mean, that's Flovis extraordinaire, isn't it? Flovis paint. I mean, what is that all about?
Well, it's a completely different philosophy, aerodynamic philosophy, really, with that car, isn't it? They've changed it completely from this almost non-existent side pod more to the standard old school style of side pod, having a side pod, having a normal air intake. So now Mercedes is the only team really that has that miniature side pod on the side, if you like. So anyway, Williams has it with one car, they have the original side pod on the other, so they're just getting as much data as they can.
Okay, so you talked about being really clumsy. I mean, they still turn quite well, don't they? as Lando there runs a little bit wide. So many cars running wide in here. But you have to be so patient in a corner like this.
You do. 3's really tricky because of the wind, but then you're positioned wrong for 4. This is a really important corner because you get a good exit here, you carry it all the way down the straight, don't you? What's the straight called?
A Wellington straight.
The Wellington straight,
Yes.
yes. I knew that. So you have a little kink before the Wellington straight, but it's easy flat in a Formula 1 car. So it's all about getting the car turned here, waiting until the car is almost straight and then planting the throttle.
So what we can see here is the incredible deceleration on the way in. And then as we watch the Aston Martin through the loop there, through the non-existent left-hander, just catapults out, doesn't it? Just a wonderful linear 1,000 horsepower acceleration.
It is beautiful to see them put the power down, isn't it? And obviously they're on quite fresh tyres, so there's a lot of grip there. When we were watching Lando's pedals, you see how he's coming on the pedal. It's not an aggressive acceleration, but it's a gradual to full throttle. Lovely to see the acceleration. AlphaTauri through 3 and 4.
Absolutely. And back to you, Crofty.
Thank you, Martin. Well, Ian Bird has joined the commentary box as well, and I think he's bird spotting. What are you doing? Oh, Hamilton Radio. Bouncing a lot in the high speed as well. He's reporting out there on the circuit. What are you up to? What are you up to, Dad?
I've just watched Jensen fall over that photographer.
Good spot for the commentary box cam as well. Yeah, well, they've been left in here for Armed Forces Day as well. Well, there you go then. You've been complaining for months on end. And even I've said it as well about how the chair that we used to sit on was comfortable. How is it?
This is complete luxury.
It is nice, isn't it? Yeah, we used to sit on that chair,
That's
which
what
is
he told me to say.
Well, this chair here, look, that we used to sit on as well. The problem was it's lost a bit of its stuffing. So the wooden thing here used to press right on the inside of your legs, and after a while, it got very uncomfortable to sit on. But sadly, that was the only chair you could sit on. Now,
yeah, but what if Madge is watching? She will want the chair back.
Well, it is going to be restuffed, so it's going to be fine. It'll be patched up eventually as well. Stephen said he can do it because you haven't seen his, have you? Beautifully repatched, so he's going to fix that one up as well. And the one alongside it, actually, this one here, look. The 2 chairs here as well. But how is it, the GTO Mega? Is it comfy? Megan said it was, she felt like Palpatine.
For someone my size, it's a bit tight, but then every chair is.
Yeah, I suppose so. But is it all right? I mean, we can adjust it, of course. We can try.
Apart from your chair with wheels.
That one, yeah. We'll adjust it. We'll get it right. We'll make
no,
it
you were great. You were great last time I had a scan in the hospital, pushing me around in a wheelchair.
Oh, that one.
Was waving at everyone.
Yeah, it felt like we had to
talking to everyone as you went past. We went past. Yeah,
that was the big proper hospital chair. We can get one of those. We can get one of those if you like.
We went in a brand new scanner as well.
Was it brand new?
Yeah, it's only a few months old, isn't it? First time I've been in that one.
It was new, yeah.
The big Polo Mint.
Oh, that one, yeah, with the big over thing, yeah.
It's a big Polo. It looks like a large Polo Mint. Anyway.
Channel 4 coming handy this
welcome
weekend.
To the British Grand Prix.
It's good, isn't it? It feels good. This morning was a bit of a letdown. Practice 2 this afternoon is already getting quite exciting.
Where's Megan?
Megan will be back with us for W Series qualifying later, and she'll be back with us for qualifying tomorrow and practice 3, I believe. But anyway, you're in at other points as well. What are you searching for
Jensen's
now?
waving at me.
Hiya,
gents.
Couldn't do that with a lip mic. Sergio Perez out there on the circuit. Look, Sky have got an ad break. Channel 4 are still on air, so that's even better. We can have keep an eye on what's happening out on the circuit right now.
Well, what about the updates for Mercedes? From part 1 of this, in practice 1, didn't really see anything, but then again, it wasn't really the weather for it. It's drying out a bit now, though there is rain due.
Yeah, all weekend as well, this random rain is going to start.
It's been spitting a bit.
It looks quite dark. I'm just going to turn the brightness up. It looks quite dark coming into the back of Stowe. So there is some clouds coming in over the top of the circuit, which could play a factor. Humidity is at 52% at the moment. Track temperature at 30 as well. So still a lot of things out there.
I had to wait for a helicopter to get me into the circuit.
That Lance Stroll
yeah, I know.
Did you arrive? I thought you would arrive by Red Arrow.
Red Arrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the local air display. We are the local air display for Forces Weekend. for the Red Arrows, and they love to come because they're people who service the machines, their families, and their own families can watch them at one of the only local displays that they do. That was last Sunday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Went roaring over here.
Well, the Red Arrows was on the Saturday. We saw those from our room, but I think who's down the pits? Lee Mack.
Yeah, thanks very much, Alex. Just seeing the two Mercedes having been pushed back into the garages. Interestingly, they're working on the rear of Lewis Hamilton's car, just a lot of checks around the suspension, but they're working on the front of George Russell's car, so maybe this is just 50-50 phone a friend, splitting your chances. But yeah, Lewis, we heard him saying he's still getting a lot of bouncing. We know they've got some new parts on both cars here this weekend. This is really the first meaningful running in dry conditions that we've had, because obviously this morning was such a mixed condition, no meaningful running. Lance Stroll bringing out a red flag, but George Russell staying in his car. A lot of work going on at the front. In fact, they're just getting those tyres ready, so he'll be going out shortly as one of the Red Bulls comes in behind me.
I would say that was Ted Kravitz, but it's not. It's Rachel Brooks, who I know is there this weekend, but I think she's doing things with Sky News, which she hasn't done for a number of years, which is interesting to see. Thanks, Lee. Anyway, what was I talking about? The Red Arrows.
Mr. Scotland might be off. I haven't seen him.
Oh, Craig.
Oh, Craig was there yesterday.
Craig was there, yeah, I've heard it. I've heard Craig in the thing. Yeah.
I heard Craig yesterday.
All I know, I was talking about the Red
I
Arrows.
don't think he voted for independence, though.
I'm not sure. Anyway,
well, he lives in Essex. So.
How perfectly timed was that? Channel 4 go off and Sky come back on as well. So that helps us.
That gives us good pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What we're talking,
what I think is, as Lewis been out, when I've been out.
Lewis Hamilton is 5th fastest, done 9 laps. He's on a 1:34.16, but nothing else.
So maybe they were doing a tweak to the ride height there.
Yeah.
You know, just a little tweak. You can't do a lot about the ride height during a practice session, but you can tweak it a little bit.
Oh, he's talking about bouncing.
Have you seen that they've all kept with one stay at the back
on the Ferrari? Yeah, but
well, I think they all have.
Ted's got news on the Mercedes bouncing.
Business, or whether they're going to have the dreaded bouncing. You might have taken a bit of horror from that radio message, but I'm assured by my contact at Mercedes who says, look, it's all about the normal learning about finding the limits, and then intriguingly, they say that's not where they're losing the time. So it might just be that Lewis and George have to put up with this bouncing yet again for the car to be fast, because they just need to live with it, because it might be a bit painful. And people were talking about 10G shocks through the spine, weren't they, Crofty?
That's
earlier on in the season in Baku. And I don't think it's as bad here because the surface is better, is smoother. But in any case, yeah. So don't be concerned about it, everybody, Hamilton fans or Mercedes fans or George fans out there. But it doesn't seem to be something they're going to have to put up with. But the speed seems to be still there. How did the onboard actually look?
Well, we're just looking off-board at the moment. You can certainly
Russell
see
looks all right.
with George Russell.
There's a natural bounce at that bit.
Yeah, down the hanger straight. There always has been.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lando Norris, does he save something? No, he gets on the sausage curbs just at the exit there. And there's the throttle cam.
Because Lando, that's a great shot, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I see as he went across the rumble strips as well. His leg jittering across the side
not as good as in MotoGP, where the shoulder cam shows you them leaning into corners.
Yeah.
But not bad.
We were talking about the bouncing.
20 years since the last they put a camera in there.
Yeah, so Frentzen.
And then in those days, Frentzen had a heavy little camera in there.
I remember that. I don't.
And when you them days, weight wasn't. There was a weight limit.
Andrea Seidel is on the Mercedes McLaren team principal. Not Christian Horner on Sky because he's on Channel 4, but Andrea Seidel is on with Crofty now. Can you, Andrea?
I'm told that Andreas can hear us. Looking at him on the pit wall, I'm not quite sure that he can.
I don't think he can.
It's like he's concentrating on something else.
And you stop me talking.
I'll stop you talking. Go on, Dad.
I forgot what I was talking about now.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Ferrari. Do you see the shaving of the rear wing?
Yeah, I did.
A little bit of sander coming on the top there.
The old get the little drill attachment out and sand a bit off the things. That's usually a Red Bull trait, isn't it?
Yeah, and here at Silverstone as well, it's one of their biggest traits as well that they like to do as well as they come through. So Russell's
what I was
bouncing a
saying
bit
was
back there.
that in the old days, the camera actually had added about 1.5 to 2 kilograms to the front.
Yeah. And it used to bring them right down exactly where they needed. Do you remember?
And that meant Frentzen would have a few problems with that. You know, in them days, nowadays the aeros allow you to adjust things and that. In them days, no, right? Frentzen was front end down. So
I'm just
it was
typing
only
it,
used once, wasn't it?
I'm typing in Frentzen foot camera F1 to try and see if I can see anything on it as well. But right now, nothing I can see.
It wasn't successful at all.
Foot camera F1.
Nico Hulkenberg there.
Oh, hello, Nico. Out there talking with some marshals down there at turn 1.
Having a good look at what's going on.
Last time we saw, here it is. Hungry 2000, Dalla Rosa had one on.
Yeah?
Where is it? Let's bring it. Well, I'm trying to open up a new tab. Open link in
It
new
was
tab.
basically like a normal camera.
Yeah, where is it?
That
Can I
you
get it
would
on?
use.
There we go. There it is. Look.
Whereas this thing is a tiny little thing.
Yeah. There we go. Ted's down there. Ted.
That's how many Williams mechanics it takes to get that pink paint, the paraffin-based aero
All
paint
of them.
wax off the car.
Hopefully more than one if it wants to come back out on the track
7.
again.
7 mechanics I've just counted to get all of that pink Flovis paint off the side of the right-hand side of Alex Albon's side pod.
Okay, well, thank you, Ted. Well, there's an image then that we're looking at now here as well. That was of Dalla Rosa and the foot cam back in 2000 as well. And the cockpits have changed massively. In those days, of course, you used to have
It's
3
Lando
pedals.
that's
instead
got
of
it
2.
on, isn't it?
Lando's got it on, yeah.
Right, and what you've got to notice is how hard he has to press that brake pedal.
Yeah, massively so, yeah.
Yeah, because basically the pedal hardly moves.
Yeah.
And that is part of the deal of being a driver, learning how to use that, because there's not a lot of play.
Yeah.
You know, like in your own car, you get used to where it is, and you
Yeah.
know exactly what to do, right? This is why some drivers struggle, you know, and why some drivers are good at braking late and others aren't.
Right, Andrea Seidel.
Because it's like a feather-light action.
Oh, good. Right, Andrea Seidel is back now on Sky. Back to him. Let's have a word with him.
This first session. Shame for the fans that they didn't see the cars more running on track. And therefore, obviously, a lot of pressure now on this hour in free practice too, because we need to make sure we learn as much as we can, or everything we normally want to learn in 2 sessions within 1 session.
What have you learned so far then, good or bad?
So far, I think it was a decent start for us. First run we did a longer run on the hard tires, just to see where we are with our starting setup here, and with all the choices that we have made after all the simulations that have been done back home by the team and the simulator work. And now, as you have just seen, we switched to the soft tires as well to get an initial read of how quick we can actually go around Silverstone here in front of all our fans and our employees as well.
Yeah, I could see Lando obviously going to the top of the times there, Andreas. I mean, that's a strong lap, isn't it? I know we haven't seen many others on the softs, but comparing with George Russell, in fact, he's 7 tenths behind you, so that's an encouraging lap, surely.
Yeah, still early days. Don't give too much on the lap times we are seeing here in free practice. We need to see now, once Lando comes back, what he's commenting about the car, pushing it to the limit. First time, as we all know, on Friday, a lot of different fuel loads around and engine settings as well. So, one thing is just to focus on ourselves. After a difficult weekend that we had in Montreal, it's important for us now to strike back and make sure we score good points again with both cars.
Andreas, it's Damon here. So you're not going to tell us what fuel load you were on then just now. So we can get some sort of gauge as to how everything else compares.
Good try.
I could tell you, but I'm in huge trouble then with my team.
You'd have to shoot me, yeah? Right. Okay.
I won't go that extreme.
Yeah, please don't. We need it for the rest of the weekend. But tell us, Andreas, just finally, does this track suit, do you think, the characteristics of your car more so than a Canada, more so than a Baku or a Monaco?
Yeah, no, we definitely think on paper that this track should definitely suit us more than some other, or let's say similar to some other tracks where we have been stronger so far this year. Because it's clear that it was a bit too much up and down so far for us this year. We had really strong weekends like in Melbourne or Imola or in Monaco, but then also some weekends like in Montreal last time. And the main thing for us is now simply to get a bit more consistency in the performance of the car weekend by weekend in order to make sure that we can stay at this P4 where we are right now in the Constructors' Championship for the rest of the season.
Brilliant. Thanks, Andreas. Great to talk to you. We'll be back.
Fantastic. Right, they've disappeared. Probably shortly now we'll have...
on the chat, it's asking about the space hopper.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that earlier on, didn't we, in the press practice?
You know...
Did you see that?
It was great, yeah. Ricardo just... Because Lando had cheated, so Danny Rick just flew it through this space hopper at him. And because it's got these ears that you hold... He really got some distance on it.
It was a proper punch, wasn't it?
Lando also ran into it.
Yeah.
So he got the right height, and then Lando ran into it. So it was twice the force. And, you know, I think it just shocked him.
Yeah.
And, you know, but Lando still fell into the
the
joke quite quickly and going, oh, no, my eyes.
Laughing his head off as well. Did you see what he put on his Instagram, actually? I'll get it up on my phone here. Oh my goodness, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, the highlight of the year, always a pleasure to catch up with your mates and talk a bit about the sport. All three commentators of F1. So Crofty, Alex Jakes and Ben Edwards are in the box.
Alex Jakes is working for Channel 4 this weekend, isn't he?
Yes, and Ben Edwards is lead commentator
on the
F1 TV.
F1 TV.
Yeah. That's the first time.
That's why you haven't got... Isn't he Thompson who's doing it for...
Who?
F2.
Yeah, Chris McCarthy's on F2 this weekend alongside Tom Gaymore.
Yeah.
And in F3, it's the usual Harry Benjamin, but Tom's just joining him in there as well from the Technology Centre. But that is an amazing pick of all three commentators.
Well, yeah.
I didn't expect that. And that's in the Sky F1 commentary box as well. So, Ben Edwards having to commentate with a headset. He's not going to like that. He likes using lip mics.
Are the other two stood on a box?
Well, we know Crofty's taller than Ben and Alex as well.
Everybody's taller than Alex.
The McNish stage is usually a little thing they have at Silverstone because Alan McNish, poor thing,
right, and
was
also
too tiny.
Alex Albon, the upgrades have put him into midfield. They're saying, well, let's see about that. 15th at the moment. Alex was hoping for a second a lap in the race.
Yeah,
better. Now, if they get that, that'll put them well into the midfield, won't it?
Massively so, yeah.
But the way it's looking at the moment, it's testing which tyre's best with it at the moment.
Here it is. Thanks, mate, as he says with hitting it in the face. And then what his face looks like after. Deflated baby Lando. Is that going to show up all right? No, it's not. Hang on. There we go. Deflated baby Lando on the thing as well.
Anyway, let's that's a great... I love the helmet cam.
I do. I think that's what the helmet cam is the best
Ferrari.
one. Yeah, that's with who's out there. Science at the moment's got it on this weekend.
Something like 10 to 15,000 people turned up on a Thursday.
Yeah,
mind you, the campsites were full on the Thursday anyway. So filling up.
It's sold out at the British Grand Prix. It's a record break as well. Last year, it was 360,000 across the weekend and 120 on race day. This weekend, 400,000 people will be here at Silverstone. On race day, it's 200,000 people. That is insane. 60,000 more, 80,000 more than last year.
We have got some information that the rights protesters might try and disrupt the Grand Prix on Sunday.
Yeah, that news broke in between practice.
A lot of security has been added to try and stop that from the.
Yeah, apparently it's a group of protesters from Greenpeace.
Yes,
from what I've heard.
Or them or the Insulate Britain people.
That too, yeah, Insulate Britain. But there's loads of things flying up and down. But basically what the planning is that they've got news that they're going to run onto the circuit and try and block the track.
Like the Mad Monk did all those years ago.
Back in 2003 on the Hangar Straight, yeah.
Who was that? Was that Montfrenson as well, was it?
Who nearly hit him? No. Coulthard and Furman and a Jaguar of...
What does Furman do now? Because he actually used to work at this track, a bit like Karoon did.
Oh, look.
He used to be one of the... when you went to...
Ralph Furman.
He used to be a driver coach here.
Still is, I believe, actually. Let's take a look. He has founded RFR, which is Ralph Furman Racing, a British constructor as well.
Oh, good for him.
And if I just take a look...
His dad was a...
here we go. He retired from racing in 2013, now runs a British engineering company.
Yeah, his dad was it looks like a Ginettas and Formula 3, doesn't it?
Yes, Formula 3 and Ginettas and Formula Nippon he was in, so now it's Formula 3
yeah.
As well. But, yeah.
His dad was a one of the guys that used to take you around the track here.
He was co-founder of the Van Diemen constructors as well, with Ross Ambrose back then as well. The Fiat Supercar champion, father, of course, of Marcus Ambrose, who, if Adam's watching, might know more about that than I do.
I would like to point out that the things that Mr. Brazil said.
Oh, Nelson Piquet, yeah.
Or the other one.
Yuri Vips as well, he said something.
And the other one, our former great leader who has gone down in my estimation.
Not Jackie Stewart.
No.
I know there's been a lot of things about Jackie. Do you know?
I'll give you a clue.
Go on, I can't remember.
I'll give you a clue.
Bernie Ecclestone, there we go. Yeah, Bernie Ecclestone saying he'd take a bullet for Putin.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Get a machine gun. Aim it at
Bernie.
Bernie.
What the heck is he repeated this on
He did.
Talk TV in this country last night on Piers' show.
He was on Piers' show again.
He was on Piers' show.
Why are they interviewing Bernie Ecclestone? Why?
Yeah, 91 years old, Bernie. I think he's losing it a bit.
He was arrested. Do you remember we talked about this? Was it in Montreal, first practice?
Look, everybody's allowed their own opinions.
Yeah,
and if that's his opinion, but it's not my opinion.
Yeah, it's the wrong opinion, but he's entitled to it. Yeah.
You've only got to look at the news pictures.
Yeah.
Although
It's
people who
horrible.
believe in Putin will say that they were fake.
Talking about...
I agree with him that he said... It all started on GMB, where he said that he wants to... he thinks they should have talked more before and
we all said
sorted
that,
this out.
Even the Ukrainian Prime Minister.
They went time after time to the country above them.
Yeah, and nothing,
with delegations and things like that.
Gasly radio. Oh, so Gasly's lost grip.
Yeah,
yes, we are checking what's going on with the car.
But we must say that he is allowed his own opinion, but it's not mine.
Yeah, it's a completely wrong opinion, Bernie Ecclestone, as well.
Yeah, and as for the stuff that Nelson said,
it's all right.
That should not bear anything on his future son-in-law, who is Max Verstappen, because Max has got nothing to do with this. Max is pro what Lewis and Seb are doing.
Max has learnt his lesson after he racially assaulted Lance Stroll in a comment back at the Portuguese Grand Prix in 2020 after a crash in practice. But he has learnt his lesson there. And he's actively fought to fight it. Yuri Vips, Nelson Piquet, Bernie Ecclestone, all of them get out of Formula 1, get out of Formula 2. Vips still racing this weekend for high-tech. Was a high-tech decision, not F2.
He's allowed to say his opinion, right? And we know that.
Yeah.
But I disagree with it. And so all I'm saying is, Bernie, I completely disagree with you. And if you want to take a bullet for him, right?
You know where to go.
The way things are going, it'll be a mother of one of the soldiers that's been killed.
It's awful down there. Just quick as well. I said about JYS, of course, Jackie Stewart, and
so Jackie's campaign is
that's
back
what
in the news, and it's a great campaign.
Let me just
after
wrap
his
up.
wife had Alzheimer's.
Let's wrap it up actually, because Jackie did an interview before the season started, suggesting that if Lewis was hurt about what happened in Abu Dhabi, he's got nothing left to prove in Formula 1, and he maybe should consider retiring.
He's the greatest of all time.
So Jackie was...
Some will say that he's done more races.
I've got to throw it to Martin.
Outside of Beckers, also known as turn 13, unlucky for some. And we've seen a few scary moments through here while we've been waiting, haven't we? Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon, as they crossed the wind down there, Jensen.
Yeah, it's the fans are getting a real treat out here, aren't they? Because the first part of Beckett's, there's a few cars having a big snap, And it doesn't seem to matter what you're driving. It just seems if you get unlucky gust across the circuit, it's proper windy out here. And the fans have been epic. They're loving it today.
Big cheers to them all there.
They've certainly got a great spot here. And Lewis Hamilton, one of their heroes, coming through. And just on a build-up, really hard on the throttle through the exit. So we can see the exit of Copse in the distance. And then the direction change and the speed they can carry through here is spellbinding.
It is. On a slow lap, it's like, it looks okay through that. And then when they're pushing, the difference is staggering, isn't it? They change the direction of a Formula One car through here. This is where they are so at home, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's obviously catching plenty of the road. And look at this, we've got a bit of a blockage going on here. Max getting in the way of Lando there on the exit of that section. So a little bit of traffic down here. We'll just wait for a couple more to come through, see if we can see them at speed. But it's a wonderful view of a very high-speed area of the track. And when the gusts of wind pick up, it kind of moves us off the top of this gantry that we've managed to find to stand on. Wall-to-wall spectators. This is Friday, for goodness sake. Absolutely extraordinary. We'll wait for one more car to come through here at speed, Jensen, and then we'll head off to our next spot. So we've got Lewis on his way. Lewis is on his way as the Aston Martin and the Alpine come through. Let's talk him through here, Jensen, what he's up to.
Well, so Lewis was just going into Copse corner. We have flicked to a Red Bull. But I think Lewis is on his way. Here he comes. He's coming through. Maggots, the left, the right. Easy flat. And then you're lifting and down one gear for the left part of Beckett's. Into the right. Car looks stable through there. Staying off the curbs. It looked good.
It looked very good, and no sign whatsoever of
I was thinking that whatever they've just done is worked.
I would say that looked as stable as anything we've seen through here.
Yes, it did.
Because Gorgeous George turned around and said that their biggest problem now was the porpoising in the corners.
Yeah.
Well, Beckett's and that's
as much as you're going to get.
That's as much as you're going to get, and that was perfectly stable through there. So just the minor adjustment they've just made has worked out perfectly. And as for Yuri Vips, what a talented young man to say such a stupid thing.
I know. Oh, and Lando Norris had no wheels.
Unlike the one we chucked out of Formula One, who
Santino Ferrucci.
No, the other one. Ferrucci.
PK.
Ferrucci's doing well in IndyCar, and he's grown up a lot. Why he ever had a phone?
Mobile, yeah.
If that had flown out that car,
it would have killed someone.
It would have killed someone behind.
Really bizarre.
But
anyway, yeah.
he's learnt his lesson. He had it hidden, right? It's fine. It never happened. But you could see why they sacked him for it, or asked him to leave, asked him to resign. I don't know.
But this thing about Jackie Stewart as well, I need to get in, because pre-season, Jackie had an interview where he said that Lewis would be feeling hurt after what happened in Abu Dhabi, and he has nothing left to prove in Formula One. Maybe he should consider retiring from the sport at the top of his game. There'll be no shame in it. And the Team LH attacked Jackie Stewart, saying, "Oh, you're only saying that because he's a better driver than you is." Jackie drove. If it wasn't for Jackie Stewart, driver safety nowadays wouldn't be where it was. So leave off Jackie Stewart. He's done absolutely nothing to Lewis there. Lewis continues to go after Jackie Stewart on that, but Jackie's only saying it as his opinion. Jackie's a broadcaster as well. He did it many, many years. So nothing wrong with Jackie. And also, Jackie's, as you said earlier, his foundation as well, racing against dementia as well, with his poor wife as well.
Yeah, but there's
fantastic.
There's no real problem between Lewis and Sir Jackie.
No, there isn't. It's just what the Team LH try and drum up about it.
Yeah, Team LH is not Lewis Hamilton.
No. Team LH is more of a cancer at the moment.
Lewis tends to exploit social media for the good and ignore the bad.
Yeah, he does it right, and I think
I think
avoid it
Sebastian
as well,
does as well. He ignores the bad stuff.
Max
and
does
basically,
it as
this
well,
week we should have ignored Nelson Piquet, and we should have ignored Yuri Vips, and we should have ignored the former gaffer.
You reminded me that in between practice 1 and 2, it was actually announced that Nelson Piquet's done another interview to try and defend himself, and it went about as well as the Prince Andrew interview did on BBC. He was continually racist against Lewis Hamilton, and then he went on and was homophobic as well. So he was racist and homophobic, was Nelson Piquet in the interview just a few days ago. So yeah.
I didn't like him as a driver.
No, we was talking about the Mansell. Of course, the Mansell Piquet movie.
Being a fan of a certain person, you know.
Red 5.
Red 5 should have been like an Exocet missile at him. Because Nelson, the things that Nelson got up to allegedly, we only hear the stories from people, including Nige, about what went on. And Nige did the right thing; he just ignored him.
One of his most famous ones, of course, was he called his wife ugly. His children's looked like spawn of the devil, and Mansell couldn't drive a milk truck rather than an F1 car. So that was one of his most famous ones, PK. But a horrible, horrible man and a horrible driver. Of course, Nelson Piquet also was behind the 2008 crash gate with his son. He came up with it all alongside Briatore and guess who? Oh,
allegedly.
Pat Simmons. No, he did it. No, that was proved in court. We can say that bit, yeah.
Yeah,
because Briatore's got a life ban
It's a bit like the things we said about certain people today. They have actually said these things on TV.
But you have to say allegedly to proved in court.
And we have to say allegedly. But, you know, some people accuse TV companies of cutting things up, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
Personally, because I've seen the live thing, and then I've seen the cut that certain organisations have done and things like that. So I know people have a point there. But this was a live interview.
Yeah.
Both last night and the one yesterday morning.
Yeah. Oh,
Bernie were live interviews. The other one was Nelson's was a podcast, I believe a Brazilian podcast.
From a year ago, just after the crash.
From just after the crash, yeah. And in fact, I think it was in November that the podcast. And
he's done another one recently.
He's going to be biased because he's a part of Max's family, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their different opinions on that crash last year, and it's over with now, right? Personally, my two children who do this commentary with me have a completely different explanation of what happened. So what I do, mine is pro Lewis, theirs is pro Max.
Well, to be fair, the first one at Silverstone, I gave it as a 50-50, but looking back at it, I'd say it's 60 Max, 40 Lewis. And then at the one in
it's
Italy...
It's the talent of Max to take that decision and think he could get it done.
Into cops,
Yeah, and also the talent of Lewis. These are two geniuses who think faster than the rest of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works, and sometimes it spectacularly goes wrong.
Which it did a year ago.
And, you know, it's been happening in Formula One for years. I look at Michael Schumacher's crashes with people.
Constantly.
And, I mean...
Silverstone, actually, 95, crashing with Hill.
I was thinking of Spa.
Oh, yeah,
with
DC.
With DC. You know, the one at Spa with DC. It was the weather. I mean, Michael, years later... him and DC decided that, look, it was a racing incident, and nothing was meant. But at the time, he wanted to,
march down
he
the
come
pit lane.
marching into David Coulthard's garage.
You tried to kill me. You tried to kill me.
You tried to kill me. You tried to kill me. And it wasn't. He just...
He couldn't see. That day, That race in Spa in 98 probably shouldn't have happened.
And to be honest, you know, he couldn't see his brake light.
Yeah.
One of the things is that brake light after that was made much more prominent.
Yeah, it was bigger and wider.
It was bigger, wider,
brighter.
and brighter.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could hardly... I mean, we have seen that quite a few times over the years with various different people.
Fuji 07.
Oh, Fuji.
Vettel and Webber crashing.
Yeah, that was the race where started the teams floating little paper
straight down
things down the...
Because qualifying got delayed, didn't it, for like an hour. And to be honest with you, that was the only year I got completely caught out. We were at a different circuit.
And who was it? I think it was one of the teams that is no longer here. Decided to put empty Coke cans on the side and float it down.
Who was it?
It wasn't
can't remember.
Russia, was it? It was.
That was Japan 2014. Who did it? Who did it in 20? Oh no, actually, Coke did it.
But
Virgin.
I thought that was genius. 2 empty Coke cans
straight down. Yeah. Oh, Lee Max down in the pits. Lee?
Hello and welcome back to the pit lane here in Silverstone. It's always a pleasure to be down here. We're just standing outside the Alpine garages. That is the garage of Esteban Ocon. And if we just take a little walk this way, we can get to Fernando Alonso's car as well. Now, they're about to go out onto the track to put in their fast times at the end of free practice 2. Do not be surprised if you do not see Alpine up there. They have got a new floor, they've got new side pods as well on the car. They are so worried about damaging these parts that they don't have many of, that they have told me that they're not going to go out and give it their all today. They're saving themselves for tomorrow. Also, just take a look at the difference between Alex Albon and Nicholas Latifi. But Williams are running two very different cars here this weekend. Alex Albon with all the upgrades. And Sebastian Vettel has just been told that he's got to come back into the garage. He's got a damaged floor. He said he hasn't actually run over anything, so he was saying, not me, Gov, but the team have said that the floor is weak. Alex, back to you.
Okay, straight down to Ted.
What's going to happen on tomorrow?
No pain, no gain.
Okay, that was Lando Norris, I believe.
Oh, now what have I said, Crofty? Now listen, couple of things. First of all, Esteban Ocon has lost about 15 minutes during this session due to a cracked side pod. So they've been
the bumps
fixing
on
it with
the track
some
there.
Clear speed tape. That she just saw
Not
the
many
chief mechanic
bumps on this
Cherry
track.
doing
It's
that
a
a few minutes
it's a
ago,
beautiful
10, 15 minutes
surface
or so, but it
since
did
it
mean
was
Ocon
resurfaced.
lost some track time. And I'm just following up with on the Sebastian Vettel floor situation. I mean, floor failures and floor troubles with these floors is not something that has been an alien occurrence to Aston Martin this year since the eve of these new regulations. Like many teams, Alfa Romeo Sauber not amongst them, and some other teams, they've had issues with the floors breaking, especially in pre-season. But it's been a long time since then. I can't actually see much work on it.
That's on radio.
So no need to manage, you can push it out.
Oh, that's...
He is pushing hard.
You were talking about
He's
the
not
porpoising.
managing.
Okay, thanks, Ted. Down to you
Remember
then.
that they haven't actually changed the Gorgeous George's rear adjustments like they have Lewis's. But one of the things I think Haas should do that, because we keep seeing a situation with Mick Schumacher, where he keeps bottoming out.
Yeah.
Especially when he's trying to ride the curbs.
That's a great shirt there. It's a Mercedes Ferrari shirt.
That's an Eddie Jordan special.
Where is it? I need to buy it. How much money is it?
How can you tell that Joshua has idolised Eddie Jordan? The amount of shirts
Great
he
shirts.
has.
I've got a bit plain today.
If someone sees a shirt in a supermarket or a shop that thinks that near Christmas, they buy it for him because of the fact that he will wear anything.
I will. And
try diff 21, Hamilton high fuel.
To be fair as well, there's a
That's
shop.
quite interesting
Yeah,
that Lewis is now going out for an outlap on high fuel, and they've just let everybody know that.
Yeah,
it's expected. This is the time P2 when they do the high fuel
for the race.
For the race.
Yeah.
But this is going to actually see if these new things that Mercedes have brought this weekend are working or not, because this is what it's going to have to be like in the start of the race.
Russell's locked up down at turn 4 and gone straight on. Apparently Sky talking about wearing a shirt as well, so they thought the same thing. But that...
A black shirt with his face on.
I literally saw you wearing it last week.
So yeah, I was just thinking about Ted.
Dill.
You have a choice. You can have Ted's head, or you can have pineapples or parrots.
You can have
Hawaiian shirts.
on a Hawaiian shirt with Ted's head on it.
Instead of the that's a good idea.
Or pineapples.
Would you like to see Crofty
or
in a Ted
pants.
shirt?
Actually, I'm going to leave it on Sky for a second. I'll be back in just a moment. I'll leave you open, Dad, but let's leave it on Sky for a second.
I'd happily wear a Ted shirt all weekend long. Right, Lewis
A
Hamilton.
Ted shirt all weekend long.
Few cars we're seeing.
Don't you think it'll
running
be
off the
washing
track a bit. In fact,
everyone?
we've got Bottas.
So
and,
let's have a
Joe,
look.
Going off at
That's
turn
normally where a
3.
camera is. Laugh out
Turn
loud,
3
Josh.
to give it its name, Village.
He had his
Nope,
phone
really
in
goes
an
off there
F1
very
car.
often.
No, he
Really,
had his
is that
phone.
related, do you reckon?
Yeah, possibly. We saw.
No, he had his phone, Josh, in a Formula 2 car, I believe, and he got the sack for it. There was another reason he got the sack, or he was made to resign. Anything else? Cannot thank you for putting off the commentary. Yeah, well, that was earlier. It's mainly Josh, isn't it, that's saying things. Hey, I thought practice 2 was 3 to 4, but I'm back. I'm back now. Well, yeah, where is Josh? There's usually a little picture of Josh. Does anybody think he had school at the moment? You know, but he's back now, so he might be back for tomorrow on the programme. Oh my, Alex Albon has all the upgrades to put. Yeah, we talked about that. Ask Andre's thoughts about the space hopping. Yeah, Ricardo Hamilton and Norris tweets last night were legendary. I tweet, but I haven't got a phone. Anyway, I'm just going to have a look. Ooh, have you seen how much Flovi's paint is actually on that Ferrari wing? Look at this. They're going to look. The director's listening to me because he's got his cut to the Ferrari. There is, you know how earlier on you saw them trying to get the Flovis paint off the other car. Which one was it? Albon's car.
Daniel,
what are they going to do with that? Dip it? Take it off and dip it to get rid of that lot?
Deployment we talked about yesterday.
Laser, like a garden cleaner?
Or get...
Probably something like that, yeah.
Borrow one of the cleaners. Yeah. Borrow one of the cleaners. Because, you know, British cleaners can get anything. You go into a British pub first thing when it opens in the morning. Everything shining things. And the night before, it was filthy. Brilliant.
Luke's watching, and he's going to be really annoyed at me because it's actually come up finally in a stream, having a shirt with your face on it. A couple of years ago, I was gifted a Christmas shirt with my face on it.
We've got a cushion.
T-shirt and a cushion as well.
Every time Josh annoys us and walks out the room, people pick up the cushion and go boom, 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 boom.
But I couldn't find the T-shirt. I just went to look, and it's not there. Sorry about that.
The T-shirt, she was in Emmerdale.
That's it for the session. I know we got only 5 minutes left. Well, there were only 5 minutes left when he got out of the car. But yeah, a crack in the side pod earlier on in the session. Now they seem to have some more issues. And Ocon out, and yeah, not a great Friday so far for Esteban Ocon. They have to be a bit careful
he's out all day tomorrow.
These cracks in these side pods. Remember, it was the first race of the season in Bahrain, I believe. They had the exploding side pod. Do you remember that?
Yes. He's been to Basingstoke.
Was it that, or was it later on? I remember there was a development. There was a development side pod, and Alonso had the new one. Ocon had to go back to the old one. I'm pretty sure it was Bahrain. Anyway, they're a bit conscious about it. Obviously, they've had that problem before. It looks like they've had another one again. So they'll want to sort that out down at Enstone and in the garage here at Silverstone.
Thanks, Ted. So yeah,
and Josh will be back Sunday. You just told us.
Muscle Radio.
Pit stop to the soft, and we're going out again. Outlap critical.
Pit stop to the soft, outlap critical. So he's going to get them up to temperature. Now they're doing a qualifying 3 run, aren't they? Seeing if they can get these tyres up to temperature within a lap. But so Josh will be in Basingstoke.
And so both the cars, both the Mercedes, are going for Lewis's setup.
Yeah.
You know, the debrief. They say actually that the debriefs nowadays are even more intricate because George writes everything down and than when Valtteri was there. And Valtteri being an engineering graduate, you know, as well as an ex-soldier, right?
Corporal Bottas.
Corporal Bottas, yeah. The way they interact is amazing.
Yeah.
And, you know, George started that for 2 reasons. One was Valtteri, and the other one was Ted.
Yes.
And actually, Seb has a notebook
Seb
as
has
well.
a notepad, yeah. He writes everything down.
But George has all his career, when he was in Formula 2, Formula 3, or GP3, he had the notebook then.
And he kept it up as well, constantly throughout. Oh, Josh says, no, I went to Basingstoke today. I'm going back to my hometown tomorrow. Oh, I see. So you'll be back Sunday. It's all right, Josh. Megan will be with us tomorrow for free practice 3 anyway. And no, Synthel's with me for FP3.
So Josh is from Basingstoke?
No, I presume he's in Basingstoke today and going back to his hometown tomorrow.
Ah.
That means you're only 30 minutes away from Brands Hatch. Is there anything on this weekend? Anyway,
he went to Brands Hatch, and isn't that where he did his marshalling?
Yes, yes, the
badge?
training. Yeah. That should be a feature during the summer break. We should see if that's a feature we could do. I mean, say summer break. this is 5 weeks. MotoGP's on their summer break, so is British touring cars. But F1's on for the next 5 weeks. So there's not really a break. There's no break till November, but I'll find time.
There's no brakes on this chair either.
No, you're slipping around on it.
No!
I was going to say, tomorrow's going to be fun then.
No, I'm going to find a hill and I'm going to roll down it.
Go backwards. Oh, no, actually, put it right back so you lay down and go like Thunderbirds.
This house is on a hill.
It is on a hill, yeah. Do you know, I know that. Do you know why? Because there's a part of this commentary box somewhere, I think it's around about here and here. If you put a chair on it, you'll rock because it's not level.
Yeah, and it was also the reason when the garden flooded that the house didn't.
Yeah, garden flooded, house didn't. We were talking about that actually in practice, about the amount of rain that was coming down. Checkered flag is out then. FP1 this morning started with the 2 Mercedes going in formation. Practice 2 ends with the 2 Mercedes in formation. Lewis Hamilton towing George Russell down towards Stowe Corner as well, near Stowe School. Hi, Matthew.
My nephew, Matthew.
Is he there still?
I think he's still a geography teacher there.
Get him down trackside, get him on the fence.
They do loads of things.
Yeah.
Formula 1 week. The school is used by people. There's always like a garden party thing, isn't there?
And I think tonight would be the entertainment event. Like
I know
we
Ted
see at
went
Sandringham.
the other year, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, like at Sandringham, we had all those garden events and all that lot going out there.
Yeah, I think
that's
garden
what's to be on
party.
tonight. Yeah, the garden party. As well. Marshall training was at Belford. I went to Basingstoke with my sister today. I'm back home now. I'm going to Sussex Coast tomorrow, where I'm from. Lovely. Let's have Lewis. Cops.
Okay, copy. We're looking.
And that explains why Lewis. Oh, and something has a big wing end plate underneath the car has come up.
Come off. That looks like a rear bit near the diffuser.
There it is. You can see it just the exit, and Leclerc nearly whacks into it as well. By the way, qualifying for Formula 2, which is up next, me and Cynthia will be commentating on that. I'm just double checking
Where
the time.
did my brother live?
Which one?
You used to live just about 15 miles outside Brighton at one point.
Yes.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
What was the name of the town?
I can't remember where.
I can't remember where it was.
I would say dial him, but he's busy.
No, he lives in Guildford now.
Guildford now, yeah. BT. Well, it must have been near BT. One of the BT offices. I don't know. Practice starts coming on the grid then, here, as Lee Mackenzie's talking with David Coulthard. He's made it. He's hot-footed it down for the commentary box. Then again, I have been in that paddock before.
Mackenzie's talking to Coulthard.
Yeah, I have been
Lee Mack talks to CDC.
And David Coulthard, of course, is the BRDC president, so he'll be in full suit and tie on Sunday.
I love it when you get a driver that can't understand the two of them.
Yeah, just for instance, let's throw me up. They are completely Scottish.
And clearly they bring them.
They get more Scottish.
They get more Scottish when they get to each other.
Yeah.
When they talk to each other, they're more Scottish.
And everything that enables them to then go and manufacture. And it may well just be this circuit, you know, the windy conditions, the very smooth track. Whatever it is, that's going to put a smile on Lewis's face because everyone had the equal opportunity.
When they're together,
yes, I assure you, listening, that is David Coulthard.
You will know this, having won here on a couple of occasions, but Lewis has talked about he just
it's
feels
like
the
everything.
energy from the fans
every time.
Is that something that drivers say, or do you actually feel the energy
This is
from
how
the
my
fans?
nephews and nieces speak.
To be fair, every time I
and
hear
my little great nieces.
Every time I hear Lee Mack, I often
and
think
great
about
nephews
it,
now as well.
Any of them ring a bell? Eastbourne, Seaford, Polegate, Shoreham, Worthing, Hove. Any of them ring a bell? I'm not sure.
What?
Eastbourne, Seaford, Polegate, Shoreham, Worthing, and Hove.
Although Worthing
rings a bell.
Worthing rings a bell. It's
somewhere around there, yeah.
Oh, he got married there as well, and I can't remember.
Weren't you best man?
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
Kevin was.
Oh, Kevin was best man. Of course he was. Of course Kevin was. Should have known that. Anyway, still coming through. Can't remember which one you were best man.
Kevin was captain of Southampton at the time.
So many as well still going on as they come through. Right, cars have done their practice starts. Let's take a look at what they look like then across the board in this session with the results from practice number 2.
we got to say happy birthday to our little Freya, who was 2 the other day.
Freya's 2 the other day, Danny Ricciardo's 33 today, and Alex Thompson, the media manager at Alpine, responsible for Megan's Alonso,
Flag.
is 32 today as well. Partner of Jack Aitken
Happy
as well.
birthday to all of them.
It's Carlos Sainz then, who ends practice 2 fastest on a 1:28.942. Lewis Hamilton is second, Lando Norris third as well. 4th for Max Verstappen, 5th for Charles Leclerc, 6th Fernando Alonso, 7th Sergio Perez, 8th is George Russell, 9th Danny Ricciardo, and 10th for Lance Stroll. More than 10 drivers set a lap time in this session. On the second page, Valtteri Bottas is 11th, Sebastian Vettel 12th, Esteban Ocon 13th, Alexander Albon 14th, Zhou Guanyu 15th, 16th for Yuki Tsunoda, 17th Kevin Magnussen, 18th for Pierre Gasly, 19th Mick Schumacher, and 20th for Nicholas Latifi as well.
And we won't go on about Alex Albon passed his driving test second time.
Did he?
Yeah.
Second time?
Yeah, he was 5 when he passed his karting license, and Karun was working there, and Karun might have been actually the one that passed him. But yes, he told Ted yesterday that he parallel parked, and the guy didn't like the fact that he looked over his left shoulder but not over his right, which is right, but I would call that a minor rather than a major.
They get him on everything. Okay, right. Megan Birch will be back with us for qualifying of W Series later on, and coming up in about 20 minutes' time, me and Seth will be on for F2. I, however, need some food, as George Russell is doing a very wonky 99, I think it's best to say there.
Yeah. How much ice cream is he giving him there?
It didn't drop though, did it?
No, it didn't drop, and Johnny Herbert did not lose any of it.
Didn't.
The bit that was hanging over the side of his.
There's Nats.
Nats looks like she's got a tiara on.
Yeah.
But it's a hair thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and she was in the commentary later on. Right, that's it.
We shouldn't mention Nats and hair.
No, we shouldn't. Right, we're back then tomorrow for all of the action from Formula 1 for practice 3, but 2 more series to come up today. F2 qualifying and W Series qualifying is up next. Well, thanks to Ian Birch, and we'll see you later on.
Look up Danny Ricciardo and Natalie Pinkham. And the kids cutting Danny Rick's hair.
Nat's hair. He's bald, Will. He's
bald. She's sat in the kitchen floor going, he's bald.
Running out of time. Right, we'll see you tomorrow then for all the action. Keep on here on the YouTube, because next up, it's F2 qualifying. Bye for now.
Bye.
We're running on.